You will never be ready to do the work or to get that thing done that you know that you should do. You will never be ready because there will always be more things that you can do. There will always be more time that you can spend scripting these videos. There's always more thoughts you can have before you just push that record button and start talking out of your brain and just flowing words out. But if you let everything else that you could be doing stop you from doing, you will never succeed in anything. And as someone who has a 1000% or nothing at all mentality, that's a really difficult thing for me to do. Because I only want to do something if I can do it perfectly the first time for some reason. I never wanted to make my YouTube videos because I knew they would never be at the level that I wanted the first time that I did them. And then after doing them for a couple of months, I never tried to really improve my editing or improve my videography skills or improve my communication. And so after those couple of months of it not improving and getting to that perfect level that I was dreaming of, I just gave up. The last video I posted was over 2 months ago, which doesn't sound like that much, but it's a long ass time. And then before that, it was another month, and before that, it was another month. And it went from posting pretty much every 3 to 4 days to every week, to every 2 weeks, to every month, and now it's just, I haven't done any work. Because what I would do instead of actually just trying to make the videos better, I would spend time planning how I could learn to make better videos, or planning where I could film the videos better instead of just filming the videos better or watching videos explaining how to edit better. And about a week ago, I wrote down 16 different scripts of videos that I could film for this podcast that I'm going to do. And then I sat for a week and did nothing. Nothing. I didn't script any more videos. I didn't film any more videos. I ordered this tripod about 2 weeks ago. And I said, when I get this tripod, I'm going to set up my camera and I'm going to film. And then I set up my tripod. I got it ready to film. I cleaned my room. And then I put the tripod in the corner of the room and I haven't touched it for the past week and a half. Because there's always something more that you can do. And so I would try to think of ways that I could make the filming better. What shirt am I going to wear today to film this video right now? What clothes are going to look good on the camera? What time of day is going to be the best for the natural lighting? And should I script the rest of this video and let the daylight disappear and then tell myself that it's too late in the day to film because there's no good lighting, and then I have to go to work tomorrow for the entire day, and then I don't have time the next day, and then that is how easy it is to let things run away from you. Once you sort of understand that your brain's only objective is to avoid pain, that's it. That's it. That is the driving factor of everything. Now, you may try to argue, like I just did in my brain, that, oh, reproduction is a massive driving force. It's a driving force, yes, that is derived from pain and running away from pain. Everything that your brain does is to avoid pain. Reproduction, avoiding the pain of not having a mate, of not having offspring, and having your genetic lineage end. That is a painful experience. Your brain wants to avoid that. Filming this video here is difficult, therefore it's slightly painful. And so your brain tries to figure out ways to get you to not feel that tiny bit of pain by putting thoughts into your brain about what other things you could be doing. And your brain plays a trick on you. It says that if you do a little bit more research, or if you do a little bit more preparation for the act, then you will be ready. Then you can do it and you won't have pain. because you'll be ready to experience that pain as if it wasn't painful at all. You can't get to a level where you can persevere through pain without bringing your pain threshold up to match, which you have to go through pain. And your brain knows this. And so instead of bringing your pain level to match what you need to get to do that work or to actually succeed, your brain literally just leads you on, which is why you procrastinate, which is why you think that doing all of this research and all of this scripting on 16 different video plots are going to be better usages of your time than just filming and rambling out of your mouth like I'm doing literally right now. And don't feel like your brain is out to get you. Don't feel like your brain is trying to stop you from being successful. It only understands pain and how painful different things are based off of your input, and it tries to minimize that pain. That is all your brain does. It is almost a binary piece of code that has no thinking ability other than what number's highest? Okay, avoid that. What thing is more painful to do? Okay, avoid that. That's all your brain does. And so this is why you need to slowly but surely take control of that little voice, that message that gets sent from your brain to tell you to not do this because it's going to be painful. And you need to control it. Or, as a way people describe it, you need to have your own voice that is louder than that other voice. Right? This is why people take cold showers. This is why people do ice baths. This is why people go on runs all the time. This is why they wake up so early and why they are so disciplined throughout their week, because that builds a voice of determination that is louder than their brain's natural voice to avoid pain. And sat here filming this video, it's not difficult at all. It's maybe a little bit awkward. Maybe I think I'm saying the wrong things. Maybe I don't think that I look good. Maybe I'm looking into the reflection of the camera's output and I'm judging myself constantly while I'm talking to you. Maybe all of that's going on, but just talking like this isn't actually that difficult. But because it's not doing something enjoyable, like watching YouTube videos or eating the chips upstairs, because it's slightly, ever so slightly more painful, your brain wants to avoid that. And unfortunately, over the past 2 years, I have been a slave to that pain. I've been a slave to the brain's avoidance of pain. And for the past 2 years, I've got nowhere. I've learnt a lot of stuff. I understand so much about my own self. But I don't have anything to show for it. I'm still completely undisciplined. I still have fallen back into those same bad habits again of watching YouTube videos and eating junk food and sleeping till 2 a.m., not sleeping till 2 p.m. and not getting out of bed until now, which is just after 3 o'clock p.m. Being a slave to this pain avoidance mind has ruined so much for me. And I'm not going to get too deeply into it because I don't want to bring my personal life into the camera. But I allowed, by being mentally weaker than the voice in my head to avoid pain, allowed me to ruin potentially the most perfect relationship. Allowed me to, I'm not going to get into it, allowed me to fail every single business that I tried. Every single Instagram theme page that I tried, there was always something that I could have done better, which is why I haven't done it, which is why I suck, which is why I'm failing at it, which is why it's not working after 2 weeks of posting one shitty video a day. So you have to give up now. Which is why this shirt that I designed like last year, I sold one shirt to myself and then just gave up on it. The beanie that I designed, the entire brand that I built, the Inevitable brand, I sold a couple beanies. I've got an entire sweater tracksuit from that brand, but because it wasn't making me a millionaire on the first ever attempt, I needed to quit. Now, obviously telling you this, you understand that that doesn't make any sense. You sold a shirt, you sold 4 beanies, you sold track pants. On your first week with your first ever attempt at a clothing brand. That's successful. That will build and build on experience and learnings into a successful business. But because my brain was already so addicted to fast reactions of video games being 3 minutes long, like I'm talking about Clash Royale, where you do something within 3 minutes, you get a response. Whether you lose or win, you get that response of seeing the numbers go up or the numbers go down immediately. Right? And so me spending 2 weeks and only seeing a number go up slightly made me think, holy crap, what a waste of time. Because the two completely unrelated cases of video games and work were so skewed in numbers that I believed that this was more effective of my time than this, whereas in reality it was like this. Because getting to 9,000 trophies in Clash Royale, like, what's that gonna do for me? What's that gonna do for me over the next 2 years? If I downloaded Clash Royale on my phone again, and I bought all of the new evolutions that I'm watching videos on how they work, and I played that to get to 9,000 trophies and reached Ultimate Champion, the highest rank again, what's that going to do for me? It'll give me some enjoyment, sure. Probably waste another 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months of my life. What is filming this video going to do? Oh, compared to that, where I get a higher number every time, after I film this video and I push that stop button, nothing changes. But I've made a video that was somehow difficult for me to do, where I'm talking to you and hopefully helping you and teaching you how I'm failing so you can avoid those same failures. Because like I said, I've done this shit for 2 years. I've played these games before. I've done this before. For the past 2 years. And I haven't changed. And that's so frustrating. But I'm so numb to any emotions of being frustrated at myself. Of being passionate about getting somewhere. Because I've been so deprived of natural emotions by being hijacked by these new technologies like video games, like the porn industry, of giving you these immediate emotional states instantly to the absolute highest possible experience of that emotion, to the point where doing anything else feels numb. So I don't feel passionate about getting to Dubai and buying a dream house and buying supercars. I don't feel frustrated with myself when I fail, when I don't film these videos, because the spectrum of those emotions that I naturally feel are so comparatively small to video games and porn and junk food that it's like looking at a blue light versus looking at the entire color spectrum, right? But in that blue light is so much difference that if you're too zoomed out, you won't notice it. And so that's what I've done. That's potentially what you've done. You've zoomed your senses so far away from how you naturally feel it. You don't feel anything. And then people try to prescribe you drugs and say that drugs are going to help save your life when they make you feel numb to everything else anyway. But I'm not going to get into that. And that is how your brain tricks you. It will tell you that you can't register emotions properly because you've been so addicted to these other things. Therefore, you're a failure. Therefore, you shouldn't try this. Therefore, you can't run a successful clothing business because you're addicted to these other things, so that you can't actually mentally process what you're supposed to be doing in real times, being attentive to all of these small intricacies of every aspect of your work, because you are so hyper fixated on these instant rushes of emotion. So your brain tells you, oh, you can't be successful, you can't work on your business because of all of these other mistakes that you've done. And the more and more I'm talking about this, it resembles more and more the battle of God and the devil, where the devil's only trick is to try and tell you how much of a failure you are, try to tell you how many sins you've committed, tries to show you how much of a failure you are, right? But the grace of God abolishes all of that. But then the devil will say, oh, but look at all these things that you've done, look at all these sins that you've committed, look at all of these addictions that you have. You're not deserving of any of this. And if you maybe have a weak voice, mental voice, or maybe you don't have a deep understanding of the light, you fall into that trap of accepting that your mind is right, that the devil is right, that you don't deserve God's grace, that you don't deserve luxury, or you don't deserve just a better life that you can live on your own terms. You'll never be deserving of God's grace because you do sin. And yes, the devil is technically true on that, but that doesn't actually reveal the entire truth. Because if you go back into the history, 2,000 years ago, there was a man called Jesus Christ who died on the cross to abolish your sins, to wipe them clean, simply by entrusting your life into that man. And by accepting him and by loving him, that erases everything else. That is why you're deserving, not because of anything you can do, but because of what he did for you. And so the devil, or the mind, tries to trick you and tries to cut off that link. And it tries to bring you into a physical world where you are the one figuring out whether or not you're deserving or not. And you can't win that battle ever. And so to avoid the pain of potentially missing out on God's grace, you just shut down completely. Instead of potentially missing out on buying your mum a dream house, or paying off all of her debt, or buying your dad a Lamborghini, your brain shuts you down to do nothing. Because the fear of that rejection is too painful to risk. And so it listens to this other voice that says, hey, instead of being incredibly in pain, sacrificing your time to do other things that are more beneficial but more painful, how about you just come over here and relax and eat some nice food and go have a warm shower and then go do something else that's maybe not what you should be doing at this time of night. And then it gets you. And now you're in a spiral for the next week, doing nothing productive and just drowning in self-pity again and again and again. And that's been my life for the past 2 years. And that's why I wanted to start this channel, this podcast, because I wanted to express my new understanding of how it works, of how I understand it to work. Which is why I've written down all of these different daily lessons, which is why I'm going to go through books that I've got and break them down systematically so that you can learn them better, potentially, through a new eyes, to give you more understanding and more clarity so that I can do the research for you, so that you can understand it on a deeper level, which is why I want to go into the Bible and break it down line by line, verse by verse, so that you can get a better understanding of it than if you were to just read it by yourself and not spend that time. I don't want to stop you from spending the time on your own. I just want to add on to it with my own perspective. Because for some reason I believe my perspective is all great and all knowing and better and should be more useful to you than your own understanding. And that's my teenage arrogance, and I understand that. But I also understand that that can be a trick. That someone who I was referencing before is telling me that I'm too arrogant and that I'm too full of myself and that I'm not actually going to be very helpful to other people. Therefore, I should never even do it. And that has been in my head, and that stopped me for a while. But what about the people who genuinely would benefit from this? What about them? They would benefit from this. The people who won't benefit from this won't benefit from this no matter what I do. Right? They're not going to like it if they're not going to like it. It doesn't matter. Ignore them. There will be people who will appreciate what you do. There will be people who benefit from what you do. So focus on them. But for the past 2 years, I've been on a decline, on a spiral of self-pity and self-hatred. Because I've been listening to the devil on my right shoulder telling me that I shouldn't do it because I'm not good enough, or that I shouldn't do it because I'm too cocky and I'm not actually going to help anyone, or that infinite reasons, literally infinite reasons of why you shouldn't do it and why you shouldn't go through that little bit of pain, why you shouldn't hold out on eating that cookie and just do 5 push-ups first. Oh, I'll eat the cookie now and then I'll do 5 push-ups. I've eaten the cookie and now I feel a bit full. Maybe I'll do the push-ups a bit later when I'm not feeling as full so I don't feel sick. And then next thing you know, 2 days later, oh wow, I was supposed to do some push-ups. And instead, ignore that. It doesn't actually have any relevance to you. Seneca says in his book, not even his book, it was his notes that he wrote thousands of years ago. On the basis of groundless fears, analyze whether or not the thought you had is working for you or working against you. And at the same time, work out whether or not which one is telling a more accurate truth. And if the one that is against you doing it is telling you more of the truth, which means that if I have 2 thoughts. One thought is I could help people by making these videos and post them online. And the second thought is I could make these videos and just waste my time because no one watches them. That second one in the next immediate week is probably going to be way more accurate. No one's going to watch this video within the first week. You're probably watching this a year later, 2 years later, right? And so technically this first answer is true. But what Seneca says is to understand that this one's more true and that this one is more against you and that it doesn't benefit you to think that way. So he tells you to discard it. Even though it's more accurate of a factual representation of more of an immediate time frame and because it's against you, discard it anyway. If you believe that something is for you, your belief is for you, that you can make a video like this and that it can help one person, then focus on that. Don't let your mind or the devil tell you you can't do it for all of these other reasons, because they don't benefit you and they don't benefit the person who you could have helped. This feels good to get sort of all of this off my chest, to actually sit down and film a video. I've been talking for the past half an hour and it has not been difficult at all. I think now I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do a leg workout, and I want to push myself. And then I'll come back. And then who knows, maybe I'll edit some of this video. Maybe I'll get this video ready to get posted online. Or who knows, maybe I'll listen to that voice on my right telling me that this video is worthless and that I should go eat the bag of sour cream and chips upstairs and watch the rest of Ken's YouTube video on Clash Royale. Who knows? Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I wish you all the best. Peace. Oh, look at that. My microphone wasn't on the entire time. Looks like I need to scrap that video and never post it and get rid of it again. You can't get me like that. When I walked away, you probably didn't hear me. When I got closer, you probably heard me a little bit. But that doesn't mean that this video was an entire waste. The fact that I forgot that my microphone was on does not mean that this entire video has been a waste. It was just an accident. And now for the next video, I can learn to put my microphone on so that when I film the video, it sounds better. So that more people can hear it and more people can understand it and that more people can benefit from it. Instead of listening to the voice saying, you're just going to forget to turn your microphone on again. And these people are going to be right about you being a loser and lazy to check all your stuff and whatnot. But pick which one you want to listen to and listen to that. Which one actually benefits? Which one do you actually benefit from listening to? And listen to that. Same for people. If someone's giving you advice, take a look at them and ask yourself, do I want to become that person? If the answer is no, do not listen to a single thing that that person will ever say to you. Because if thinking like that person will make you, if thinking like they did got them to where they are, why would you want to think like them? Because you will just become them, right? If you don't want to become like Satan, if you don't want to become evil and lose God's grace, don't listen to him. Yes, he may tell you what you believe to be the truth, but he got there by listening to himself. So why would you follow that? Anyway, some food for thought.